Okay, I think we're ready. Katie Lang, come on out, girlfriend. For those of you that weren't upstairs for the plaque ceremony, in true Katie Lang fashion, you put your plaque upside down.
Did I? Why didn't anybody bring their dogs? Where are the dogs? I'm disappointed in you, Calgary.
Wow, 1961, born in Edmonton.
Yep.
Edmonton, Alberta, you're not a year old, you go to Consort, Alberta.
Right.
When was the last time you were back in Consort?
Not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, my friend and I took a drive out to Consort and then to Saskatoon.
All the highlights.
Yeah.
Population 600 growing up in Consort, which, for those of you that don't know, about 3 hours southeast of Edmonton, or straight south of Czar.
Yeah, or straight east of Red Deer, Stettler.
Yeah, that's kind of pinpoint.
Central Alberta.
So growing up there, is that where you got into music and the arts, or?
Yeah, so I'm the youngest of four children who all studied classical piano, and I'm the least talented out of all of them. They all studied the Royal Conservatory program. And so I was in a house inundated with music, and I listened to them. My brother was the most profound. He actually went from grade 9 to the University of Alberta to study classical piano and skipped high school, and just never really wanted to have a life in music. But I listened from the time I got home to school, till about 8 o'clock, I listened to classical piano being played in the house. So that was an extremely beneficial environment.
Now, because you've always said you're a performance artist, so did you take drama in high school, or did you do those?
I just lived it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Consort Alberta didn't have a drama program per se. Oh.
So after you graduate from high school, you go. Is that when you went to Red Deer College? Or?
Yes, I went actually to play volleyball.
Really?
Yeah, because there was a coach there that I had my eye on from the University of UCLA, who came up to Red Deer to coach the girls team at Red Deer College. And I was an avid volleyball player, so I chose to go to Red Deer College so I could play with him. And I broke my ankle the week of tryouts. I discovered marijuana. And the life of music.
So what, besides volleyball, what did you take at Red Deer College then?
It was the very first year that it had been offered, and it was a combination of performance and music business, which actually was a very, very thoughtful approach for people in the music business, because no one teaches you about publishing or about theory and performance and the business and management. So it was a well-rounded it was a little early. There was 4 of us the first year. So it was a little loose. The most exciting thing that happened is we had this one instructor that was very easy to convince that eating pierogies was way more important than studying theory. So
now you head up north to Edmonton after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened once you got to Edmonton? Not much.
No, a lot happened in Edmonton. I have so many amazing memories of Edmonton. I started in a musical production called Country Chorale, where I emulated a singer named Patsy Klein. And yeah, but I think I was into Patsy Klein. I think for this happened before. For my 21st birthday, a friend gave me a Patsy Klein record. And oh my God, it was like a portal into the best. I couldn't believe it. I was never into country music. But I got this Patsy Klein record, and then I got this gig playing this Patsy Klein character, and that started to happen. And then there was a studio owner in Edmonton named Larry Wanigas who became my manager, and he had a sale to record a single, a double-sided single, and then press 500 singles for $500. So I called my mom, Audrey, can you lend me $500? And of course she did, because she was just that way. And yay, Audrey. So I recorded Friday Dance Promenade and Damned Old Dog, which was a Roach Sisters tune, and that went out on single. And then I think I drove to CFCW and was like outside going, can you play this? Can you? And you didn't, thank you.
Oops.
Hey, it all worked out. It all worked out. Rejection is a part of my story.
It really, well, though we did play Hanky Panky.
Did you?
Well, because it was a 2-minute song, and it was either that or Snowbird that could take you up to the 11 o'clock news. You had P songs, you had 4-minute and 50-second songs that you could go to the bathroom on, or you had 2-minute songs that get you to news time.
Do you see what we're dealing with, people?
But 1984, a truly Western experience, your first album, and that was the year, I'm sorry, Calgary, that was the Oilers' first Stanley Cup year.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's not a coincidence.
No. Because if you wanted to see Wayne Gretzky or Mark Messier in Edmonton, you would go to a K.D. Lang show. And that's
true.
A true story.
That is true. Walden's Lounge.
Yeah,
Walden's Lounge. After the games, they were there. Yeah. Yeah, a truly Western experience came out, and I just started to. I figured I would stay in Edmonton because it was easier to generate. There wasn't a lot of competition. Of course, there's amazing musicians in Edmonton. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt like it's probably easier to stay there than to go to Toronto or go to Vancouver and try to compete with already established bands. And and Larry was there, and we just started working and went to Toronto and, played Brunswick House and went to Vancouver and played the Savoy and the Railway Club, and things just started to happen. And I worked my chops up,
Well, you did, and it was your performances that was the buzz, right? Have you seen this K.D. Lang? Have you seen K.D. Lang? Like, I have 5 million people in Edmonton that must have saw you, that there's no way you had that many people, but everybody wanted to say they were there when K.D. Lang was just getting going, because you were huge in Edmonton.
I was. Well, I played there for years. I played the sidetrack. We were talking about this. I played the sidetrack and the Boiler Room, played the folk festival many times, and yeah, it was a really great place to learn how to be me.
So with the Owen Bradley, then, that was almost the next step, wasn't it? So
yeah, I was still living in Edmonton, and I was bugging Owen Bradley, who is a producer who produced Patsy Klein and Ernest Tubb and Loretta Lynn and Brenda Lee and Kitty Wells, and really helped with not with Billy Sherrill, but at the same time, countrypolitan music, that sophisticated country sound. And I was obsessed. Well, I called my band The Recline, so I think you all know, I think I'm the reincarnation of Patsy Klein, so it still stands.
But that Shadowland album that Owen Bradley did, go back and revisit it. I just did that again on the weekend. That is a brilliant album.
It was a brilliant experience. That's all I know. It was an amazing, and I became very good friends with Owen, and we spent many, many, many hours just sitting and listening to jazz and country and talking about music and Patsy. And, you know, the Shadowland used all the Bradley's Barn, you know, A group musicians, and, you know, those are all the same people that played on Patsy's records. So my whole obsession with Patsy kind of came to fruition with making that record.
And you have Kitty Wells and Loretta Lynn and Brenda Lee, the Honky Tonk Angels, on that as well. Had you ever met them before you recorded with them?
No, and that was quite an experience. I walked into the studio on that session where we did a song where we all sang on one record, and so Kitty, Brenda, Loretta, and I were all in the studio at the same time back in the old days. That's how it was done. And I walk in, and Loretta had brought a loaf of white bread, a big jar of mustard, and I swear to God, a piece of bologna that big, and a steak knife to make everybody bologna sandwiches. Beautiful. I didn't have one, but I admired them.
Did you guys perform on an award show too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember the four of you coming out.
Some country music award.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Well, you and I got talking backstage a bit, but because you were on Hee Haw, you were on Johnny Carson, Super Dave Osborne. I know, big, hey? Think about that, hey?
Well, I think my A&R person, Carl Scott, God rest his soul, had a vision because I was different. And I proudly wear that moniker to this day, realized that it was a visual experience and knew that radio play was difficult for me, but television was easy for me. So I did a lot of television, like a lot of television. Like I did Johnny Carson like 3 or 4 times while it was with Johnny. And I was on Leno's first Leno show with Roy Orbison. And in fact, I did David Letterman before I was signed to a record company. So television was now television doesn't exist really for musicians.
It's hard. So okay, now you're getting all this television exposure, and then the Absolute Torch and Twang album, which I love. We did play music off that one. But that was a great album for you, and won you a Grammy, won you CCMA awards.
I don't know how. I never got played on the radio, even though you're professing that I did. But somehow I did win those awards. That was wonderful.
And then, okay, now we're have fun because the early '90s got interesting for you.
Yeah.
You decided to come out, which was huge in those days.
Yeah.
Bold,
Well,
courageous.
I decided that my relationship with country music had kind of run its course because really my influences, like I said, were more like classical and more people like Joni Mitchell and Kate Bush and Ricky Lee Jones and different people. It wasn't country music, but I loved country so much that I dedicated 8 years. But then I felt like it was time to sort of explore the more profound influences that I had, and made Ingenue with my partner Ben Mink. And that was at the time when the AIDS crisis was really, really in a big fervor, and there was a lot of discourse, and you had sanctions of people outing people and weaponizing people's sexuality, and I felt like it was a very, very important and responsible thing to do in a humanitarian response to come out and to own it and to walk it. And So I did, and you know, half of the people that I worked with at the record company were gay, and I got mixed signals. You know, don't come out, don't do it. Yes, come out. But at the time in the interview, which was for the Advocate magazine, which is a gay publication, still in publication, I never lied, and I wasn't gonna lie. And yeah, my career definitely took a big hit. Musically. My fame did not take a hit from it. In fact, I became more famous because then the Vanity Fair cover with Cindy Crawford was a result of that. But my music career took a hit. And the focus was never my music ever again. Still isn't, actually. That's what we're sitting here talking about, my big old Leslie-ness.
Well, you know what's more funny? I go, wow, the meat stinks? I got more calls on the meat stinks.
Well,
I'm going, why didn't you just say I love
God,
vegetables?
we are in Alberta. Are there bombs? Is Daniel Smith here? I'm scared.
Not a lie.
These are plastic, by the way.
Holy cock-a-doodle-doo, at the radio station, did we get calls?
I bet you did. I got my mom's school got bomb threats. My record company got bomb threats. You know, the question and the consciousness of what we eat is a very big thing, and I'm sure you're all like pinging with like emotional responses right now. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it's a lot to grapple with. If you grapple with it. All I'm asking is you grapple with it a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, well, for us at the radio station was all the cattle producers calling us, because as you know, that's our bread and butter at C-Dub. And I said, you know, you're about to make her even more famous, and really it's her choice. Why are we doing this? It just drove me nuts.
Well, I mean, it came off a lot more militant, even though I was extremely militant, but the ad came off way more militant than what I wanted to. And since then, I've become a Buddhist, and I would have never approached my vegetarianism the way I did. I was in conjunction with PETA. I was given a text as I walked on camera, and I said what was written, and it wasn't the way I would have approached it. But nevertheless, that's what happened. That's my karma, and yeah.
Let's talk more then about the Buddhism, because that intrigues me. Because when first time I met you was at your induction in Edmonton, and you're very, I can tell when I'm talking to you, you don't have that with a lot of people in the industry, that you're actually listening to me. Oh. like you're present, and the same goes for you, Gilles. Gilles, you're the same. You know, it's very endearing, but that's who you are. I could tell from your core.
Well, is there a question there?
There may be, but no. When did you start to, and I don't even know the proper word, to study Buddhism, to live in that realm?
Well, it came innately. When I was living in Edmonton, I started to question reincarnation, because it didn't make sense to me that we would just pop into existence and then pop out. That doesn't make sense to me. And then in the year 2000, I was living in Los Angeles, and I met Lama Chodak Gyatso Rinpoche, who was a Tibetan teacher, and became a student of him, and had the good fortune of working by his side for 8 years. A very close proximity. And yeah, I'm still studying, so it's been, 24 years.
That's incredible. So now as we go on the journey of K.D. Lang, we're hitting the 90s, and in 1990 you win the Grammy for country album vocal performance, and then 3 years later you win for pop performance. That doesn't happen a lot, That's incredible.
felt incredible, for sure. It felt incredible. I mean, that's incredible. Grammys is an intensely competitive arena. But I was just happened to be there and doing my thing. And the award that I'm most profoundly proud of was in 1995. I was voted by a reader's poll from Playboy magazine. I'm not even kidding. For Drag, for my record Drag. That felt pretty good. That remains the only trophy I have in my possession.
That's it.
That's it.
All you've won, 10 CCMA awards, Junos.
Yep, it's the Playboy Readers Poll. I love the irony of it.
Let's talk about two of the artists. First of all, that you've done duets with. First of all, with the Crying with Roy Orbison. And you just did a remix of that. It sounds...
I did?
About 3-4 years ago. They sent us a better version. It's cleaner.
Remastered.
Remastered, pardon me, yeah. But talk about the Roy Orbison. How did that all come about?
I got a call. There was a movie called Hiding Out, and they wanted Crying in it, and Roy, they wanted it to be a duet, and so I was called by Roy, or I guess Roy's record company or whatever, if I was interested. And I sort of knew who Roy was, but I wasn't, I was young when Roy was really famous. But everybody around me were like, oh my God, are you kidding? Do it, do it, do it, do it. And so I studied up on Roy, and then the more I listened to him, the more I was like, oh my Lord, this man can sing. And we recorded it, and I've told this story 1,000 times, I'm sure you've heard it, but like when we were recording it, we were rehearsing it, and we were sharing the same mic in the studio, and we leaned in for one particular harmony, and our cheeks touched, and it was like electric. And then, that voice came out of it, right? And it was just like this power, and yet this gentle, soft cheek. And he was like that. A lot of people sort of felt sorry for him, or that he had a really tragic life, which he did, but he wasn't a victim, and it wasn't but he was very, very quiet and solid. I often refer to him as like a tree-like stature. He was just like there and quiet and powerful, and when he sang, it was undeniable.
And your voices together. Oh, yeah, don't you think? Yeah. So good, so good. Tony Bennett. How did you first meet Tony Bennett?
Tony was doing Unplugged in 1992 and asked if I would do a duet on Unplugged with him for MTV. And he would probably tell you different, because I think we met somewhere backstage at a Grammys or something, which I have no recollection of. But we ended up doing this duet on MTV Unplugged, and we just hit it off. I mean, he was such a pro, my God. I learned so much from Tony Bennett in the way he carried himself through the airport, the way he programmed his daily existence, starting with tennis, and then painting, and then a great sound check, and then the show, which he gave 110%, and then a bowl of soup and back to bed. I mean, he was just like clockwork. But the way he conducted himself in the airport, backstage, just greeting people, and always thank you, just a real Renaissance man, always listening. When we shared, plane flights together, he was always reading some biography of some great artist or musician, and he was always listening to the great singers like Billy and Ella, and just always absorbing, always being involved with art. And he was like that right up till the end.
Yeah, and the voice was still there too at the end. Like, how old was when he passed?
94 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right to the end, he could.
Yeah. I mean, he did a big show when he was 90, a birthday show from Radio City, and he was 90 and he was still doing it.
Sometimes you're in the studio with him. Do you suddenly go, I'm Catherine Dawn from Consort, Alberta, and I'm with Tony Bennett?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because while I was living my musical life, I never really experienced that. Like you're immersed in the moment, you're there and you're just trying to show up and be good and sing well and do your part. It wasn't until I kind of stopped, when I removed myself from it, and then I went, holy shit. I sang with Shaka Khan, I sang with Roy and Tony and Elton John, and I've sung with some of the world's best singers. And I don't know how I did it. I honestly don't know. I don't know how I had the confidence and the sheer ballsiness to just do my life. But that's the joy of being younger and just full of energy. You just do it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
I talk about my almost 50-year career, and oblivious is the word I use. Yeah. Just because you're so busy having fun and doing it. Yeah, you don't think about it. I want to take you to the 2010 Winter Olympics. So I worked the curling venue in Vancouver, and all of the people, the workers and the volunteers, got to go to the rehearsals the night before the opening ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. And I was lucky enough to be there when you walked out on stage to do Hallelujah at the rehearsal, and you saw the magical one of the open, but you nailed even the rehearsal, and today I still get chills when I think about that performance. So proud as a Canadian and an Albertan.
I literally could write a book about that experience. It was so intense. My llama passed away a couple months before, and I was heartbroken. And I was also given this golden egg. Oh my God, because I had been singing Hallelujah already for a couple years. And to have Leonard Cohen say no, because they actually asked him to sing it, and he said no, ask Katie. And so to be handed this golden opportunity, and that song at that time in my life, with then the extended and deeply intense moment of the luge person dying, and singing it. I sang it live. I don't think a lot of people sang live on that particular opening. They didn't really want you to. A lot of things can go wrong, but I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do this if I don't sing it live. So I was so nervous. That it was because of the Olympics. The security for the Olympics is very intense, and I was taken to my trailer backstage at BC Place like 8 hours before I was put into place, and I was in my trailer just dying, and dying through the scaffolding under you can imagine miles of scaffolding and hallways, walking me to my spot, and then I was so nervous, like sick to my stomach nervous, and then they took me up in this elevator to the top of the stage, and the second I was praying, I was like, please settle me down. And the second I got onto that stage, it's just like clarity and like a purity of understanding of realms came into me. I know that it was my Lama was helping me at that time. And just everything became so clear and slowed down. I hear athletes talking about this and it being in the zone. And then everything was white. Everybody was wearing white and they were holding the candles. And everything was just this big illuminated offering. And I felt such intensity at that moment to do it. Yeah. And believe me when I say this, that it was not me. And I mean that honestly, that, yeah, I was there, I was a vessel, but it was the culmination of so many things, including Canada and Leonard and that song and the guy who died and that moment. And, you know, these things, they are our collective consciousness ripening. And so believe me when I say I cannot take the credit for that moment. We shared that moment together.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell to go after that.
We should all maybe meditate now. Quit eating meat and meditate. Chop, chop.
Okay, this outfit here that you wore on the CCMA Awards, did you make it?
I did not make it, but I think my mom made it.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, you used to make a lot of your...
Well, I didn't, but I would tear the curtains down in my sister's room and go, Mom, can you make this into a skirt for me? Yeah. Yeah, that blue one. Yeah, that mocks the album cover of A Truly Western Experience.
It does, actually.
Yeah. No, that was supposed to be that, yeah.
And then I hope you have a chance to go upstairs because your white wedding dress, and that's 40-year anniversary, I think, is this year of you wearing the wedding dress at the Junos for most promising female.
I figured it'd be the only time I would wear a wedding dress. Sad now, very sad. 60's not looking good on Tinder.
So I have a feeling. Did you have a say in all of your album covers when I think about the album cover because I think that's the way your mind would come up with an idea. I have a feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the whole visual creative experience of my career was so important to me, and I still work with the same graphic mind, Jerry Hayden from Smog Graphics in Los Angeles, and we've just been good friends since the get-go. And yeah, the way I've always wanted to express things visually, whether it's in my clothes or the album cover or the videos that we did. My hair.
The hair.
It's very important.
You have great hair. It's unfair.
It's an obsession. It's a sick obsession.
And how about all the videos that you did?
Yeah, videos was a weird aspect of our careers during that time, because I was around at the same time that Michael Jackson and Madonna were, and they would spend like $6 million on making a video in the mid 80s. And the artist is at least 50% responsible for recouping that money. So you would see a Madonna video or a Michael Jackson video, and you'd be like, "My, that's great!" And then like a Katie Lang video would come on, I'd like eke out $60,000, and you can imagine the production difference between 60 and 6 million. But you just had to be creative, you know. So, and it was, you know, videos. It became a pain in the ass, quite honestly, after a while. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that folded. Video killed the radio star.
So now upstairs, you said after your plaque unveiling that you live with gratitude.
Mm-hmm. I've tried to. Good Lord, there's never enough gratitude. But yeah, it's been I've had a pretty blessed life, and singing is such an amazing thing to do. It's not better than being a mason or a nurse or a plumber. It's just not, but it's an amazing thing to do.
Well, so Jill and I were saying, we get paid to do this. We're in this business.
Wait, am I getting paid?
Oh, no, not for this. No. Absolutely not.
You mean I can buy a pair of leather shoes after this?
Well, you're usually in bare feet, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. It's too cold right now.
So now your name is up there. Did you? You probably haven't had a chance to look at some of the other plaques.
I didn't get a look, but I can imagine there's some pretty great ones.
Anne Murray. Talk about Anne.
Oh my God, my biggest crush.
Yeah.
Oh my God, poor Anne. I've drooled over her many places. She's afraid of being in a room with me.
You know, Anne Murray was at Canadian Country Music Week, and it was St. John, New Brunswick, and I'd never met her. And I'm on the elevator with her, and my inside voice is going, "That's frickin' Anne Murray. That's frickin' Anne Murray." And then she gets off the elevator. I go, "That was frickin' Anne Murray." But I never said anything to her because I was so intimidated.
You didn't say that out loud?
No, I didn't. It was my inside voice.
Yeah.
I do have an inside voice.
No, she was so important to me, absolutely. But there's so many Canadian artists that were important to me.
You think about Rita McNeil.
Yeah. Stompin' Tom was important to me, yeah.
And Terry Clark and Paul Brandt. Gordon Lightfoot's named up there. Ian Tyson.
Yeah. So many.
And your name's up there.
Yes, it is. It's a magnet.
So it means you're going to steal it?
I may.
Andrew?
You have extras.
I just want to say, an Albertan and Canadian, I can always tell that you are an Order of Canada recipient. I'm sure that was a huge honor from, you were Governor Mary Simon, right? You got the Order of Canada.
That was
probably special coming from her, right?
Yeah, very special. She's beautiful, yeah.
And now is your home here, and you're sitting, and you've donated all of your outfits here to the National Music Centres.
I did. Only under the what do you call it? Under the Yes. The what? Proviso? Yes, proviso that I can come wear them and dance around at night when no one's here. Relive my glory days.
Well, we relived it when you hit the CCMA Awards. That was so much fun.
Dude, when I put those boots on, literally changed my... something. I felt like Wonder Woman, you know. Something happened when I slipped those boots on. Oh my God.
So now here what is the next thing for Katie Lang? You're in Halls of Fame, Order of Canada. You've been quiet musically. What can we expect in the future?
I don't know. I've survived the next 4 years. Let's put it that way.
We understand.
Yeah. Lay low.
They won't know we're here.
Yeah. Don't cross the border too often. Yeah. No. You know, I was telling Andrew this just before we walked on stage, that I really believe in my heart of hearts that my body of work exists. I don't need to make more music. I have given a lot to my music. But my life as it continues is such an amazing opportunity, and I don't mean mine particularly, our lives is such an amazing opportunity to be in service and to become a better person. And I really believe that if I focus on that, mine happens to be my Buddhist practice, that it will retroactively juice my music. And that I am being dead serious right now, that when people listen to it, that it will move them in a different way. And that's what I hope. And that's, I hope, what I'm doing. So I'm continuing to work. It's just in a silent way, because silence speaks the most to me now.
Yeah. My husband wishes for silence. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Canadian Country Music Association Hall of Fame inductee, Katie Lang.